Good afternoon, everybody. Just doing a quick shop update video for what I'm up to. I serviced my rototiller today. I've already serviced my lawnmower, so got my fancy rototiller all fired up, blew out the filter, checked all the oils and all that. I usually change the oil every other year because I maybe only use it like 3 times a year, 4 times a year tops. So oil's good. I'll do it, change it oil again next year. Pulled the plug's fine, so fired up on the first pull. So not bad for a $50 rototiller. But I think it only had like 10 hours on it when I bought it. So, and I keep all my lawn and garden equipment in a garden shed, so it doesn't sit outside. So I make sure I take care of my stuff. Other project I'm working on, I got my boat here in the shop. Just a 16-foot Northport troller. I think it's a 1985 model. 3 pedestal seats, got the live well. It did come with a remote steering column in it, but the original owner who we bought it from had changed to this 25 horse Johnson. This is this boat's second engine, and they don't make the remote steering kit for this motor, so he had to pull the steering column out and he just tiller steered it. So not the end of the world. We still have the column, so someday down the road I might try and put it back in, but I have looked and they do not, for as far as I can tell, they do not make a remote steering column for this engine. So, but had this fired up the other day outside in the yard, and I'd been having trouble with the throttle sticking the last couple of years. A few years ago, this boat ended up being 3/4 submerged during a big storm and was beached, but so I ended up pulling the throttle apart. I was finally able to figure out how to pull that throttle apart, and sure enough there was some dirt kind of clogging it, so I blew it out and then put some silicone and some lube in there, and then had to kind of screw around with the idle, but now it's running really good. So nice thing about this one too is it's electric start, so you can still pull start it, but it's electric start and it's oil injected, so you don't have to mix your fuel, which is really handy. So it's just regular gas, and we've always just used regular gas and then topped up the oil, and it's good for a little 16-foot boat. This is more than enough power. So see, another little thing I did last year, I've already had to fix that seat mount once before, because in the next few years I want to redo the carpet in this and the floor in this boat. Just haven't had time. So a friend of mine was fishing, and then that seat mount actually ripped out of the floor. I'd already re-screwed it in a different spot once, and so I made that little base just so that it can maybe last a few more years, and then hopefully I'll redo the whole inside. So I wouldn't mind making some benches that had like lift up storage, so that I can maybe store the oars inside, so they don't have to be strapped out like that. And also got my scales always on a string there, and I have a meter stick there. Some of the lakes I've fished, they have slot sizes, so that way you can weigh and measure them quick. And that's the light for the back, because it's 16 foot, so it's got to have lights on it. All the lights work. Bilge pump has already been tested. I need to make sure that the live well is working. I have to fiddle around. So what it's in the shop for is I'm going to pull both wheels off and check the bearings. Make sure they're good and greased and in good shape. And I hate these wheel studs though. These are not the studs, or those bolts that go into the hub, and they're just a pain in the ass to get that first one started again. Real pain in the ass. I'm also going to do some work on the lights, get some wire loom on those. I picked some of that up the other day. And then I got to fiddle with this one on this side. These have that old school light bulb in them where it's those 2 little nubs that that you just kind of twist them, but they never want to stay in. So I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to make that stay. Also, the gasket's missing from this one. I had to do a quick light bulb reinsert, and the gasket blew away on me. So I'm just going to put some sealant on the edges of that, and then it should be good to go. So one of the things I do too is when I go to launch this, I unplug the wiring from it so that it's not running hot, because that's a good way to pull bulbs. These little yellow things, those are just little stanchions I made, because I won't be pulling it with my truck this year, because my truck, I took the plates off for the summer, so I'll probably end up using my girlfriend's truck if she's with me, or I'll go borrow my dad's truck if I need to. I don't like towing it with the Jeep. But I just made those because when I tow it with my truck's got a leveling kit on it, and it's hard to see the trailer when there's no boat on it. So that just made it a little easier for me to back up the trailer when I don't have the boat off when I go to recover it. So something else I'm going to work on is I'm going to make a mount for the spare tire. I have 2 spare tires for this thing actually, and then there's the tire iron for it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make a mount just on the other side of where this jack is. I've got some, I got a welder, so I can pretty much make whatever I want, and got some scrap steel, and I think I got a piece of threaded rod I can use to put on there, and I'll make a quick mount and weld her up, and yeah, it's nothing fancy, but we've had it for, oh geez, probably like 8 years, something like that, and it'll never really give us any major problems. Just try and do maintenance every year, and I try and keep it nicely covered, and I need to get a new cover for it. This one's got some rips in it now, but I've kept it in my yard the last few years, or last year anyway, and made sure it was tarped properly. My dad was never always the best at tarping stuff, so I was always having to do some repairs, but not a big deal. Like I've had to remake this top piece of the wood. This one rotted. New one, and sorry, I just got a text come in. Yeah. Got new seats last year. I bought 2 new ones, and then that was a used seat, and I was actually able to modify the original seat mounts, and they worked. So yeah, it's a project for this afternoon / evening. I'm still working today, so I don't want to get too dirty and greasy because I'm first car, but at 7 o'clock I go to second car. Something else I want to do is see if I can figure out a way to make a cover for this, because the bolt for the original one broke, so then the cover blew off. So I might just put some tape on it until we actually go to need the lights. That I just want to try and keep that socket from getting all corroded. So, but yeah, that's what I'm up to. So, thank you everybody for watching my shaky videos. I hope everybody's having a good weekend, and you're getting lots of work done whatever you're working on. So everybody take care. Thank you.